Greetings to each and everyone. By the way, I am Eliza Candelanza and I am your presenter of this topic, the application to pedagogy. First, we will discuss the case for cohesion. So what is the case for a focus on cohesion? Cohesion class is fundamental to text construction. As I presume, you knew already what is cohesion, which was discussed by our previous presenters, am I right? In which it gives significance in making a context smooth and logical. Without it, a text wouldn't be understood or it might raise confusions of what it wanted to convey to our readers or our listeners. Cohesion sometimes is neglected in many learning materials preference, being given to grammar and lexis. In this manner, we will focus on the case of cohesion. This focus on the first, differences between how cohesion is signaled or realized in different languages. It also focuses on the grammatical forms of cohesion such as reference, substitution, ellipsis, conjunction, and lexical cohesion. On the other level, focus of cohesion takes in terms of function of language. For example, how language in English is distant in Chinese. Because in Chinese, it is often referred to as high context language, which means it greatly relies on the context in terms of interpretation of the meaning. On the other hand, in English, can be described as relatively low context language, which means it focuses on the meaning explicitly rather than on the context. Though context is very important, in low context language, it is more on details and how it functions to avoid confusions on what it is intended to convey to our readers or our listeners. Okay, we have here differentiated examples of focus of cohesion on language. On the high context language, we have an example here. After the introduction of participant into the discourse, this participant is generally understood from the context and does not need to be reiterated by means of cohesive devices, which means the participant grasps ideas by looking only on the context, or we can say the participant focuses on the big picture of a particular discourse. On the other phase, the low context language, we have here example. After a participant has been introduced into the discourse, it will be typically reiterated in subsequent clauses by means of cohesive devices such as pronouns. So it uses cohesive devices. To better understand a particular discourse, a participant is introduced in what we call repeating the discussion on the later phrase or sentence using pronoun or other cohesive devices. Because pronoun is not just only the cohesive devices, am I right? So there are also different or many cohesive devices you have learned in the previous reporters or discussions. These cohesive devices connect phrases in order to better understand the discourse or such discussion. Okay, let us move to another slide, the ties, chains, and bonds. Aspects of cohesion have been featured in language teaching. Those teaching and learning materials deal with cohesion focus on connecting pairs using a slot and filler or fill-in-the-blanks approach, for example. Those aspects of cohesion such as substitution and ellipsis are used to substitute a word into another word to avoid repetition of the words that is used in the context. This helps on the exercise in raising learners' awareness of the forms or functions of reference in English, especially on proper use of connecting words. Though the cohesive tie linking two clauses is fundamental unit in cohesion, we also need to be attentive on the role of chain and bonds because understanding these two is not just developed through practice in linking pairs, but cohesion varies from register to register according to Howe in 1991 and Tanskanen in 2006. Or shall we say, we will follow a particular rule on it. On this slide, you can see a paragraph that is full of blanks. It is a chain developed by Hatch in 1983. It centralizes the background of a female doctor. If you will read the whole paragraph, it contains blanks that should be replaced by an appropriate substitute words for a female person because we have female subject here, which is Dr. Cheryl. So instead of using the name Cheryl repeatedly, we will substitute the words she and her as appropriate terms for a female person. This change of functions and structure involves different uses or sometimes might raise unclear statement because there is instance that a person needs to be reminded of what he or she read or listen to. In that case, intervention in terms of cohesion is introduced, which brings us to the role of lexis. So, lexis, which studies the word meaning that enables us to analyze meanings of words in terms of relations to each other within sentences. So according to Howe in 1991, students need to learn how to repeat, but not just by repeating with the same word or phrase, but to master the full range of words from the relevant semantic field. In this manner, student will be equipped to the skill of using common features in conversation like the use of synonyms or antonyms in a regular basis. And now we will move to the last part of this discussion, which is the propositional relations. According to Crombie, propositional relations is an organizing principle for syllabus design. She also argues that propositional relations are a universal phenomenon common to all languages and argues that propositional relations can provide a framework for introducing the signaling items of the target language and also how the relations may be expressed by other means. In this slide, Crombie points out that learners should be equipped not only on recognizing and using text, but also the learner should know when and where they must use the text and not to be. So this ends my presentation. Thank you for listening and God bless.